Does this flip around?
Yeah, you can swing that. You can move that around. Yep. You running?
It's running.
Right. What we got here? November 2nd. Me and my buddy Phil are heading out on our farm. We're going to pick 2 different blinds. We got a pretty good wind. I got intel. There was a big buck right at shooting time last night over between these 2 towers. So we're going to give it a whirl, have some fun one way or the other.
Last day of Diaz Muertos. Day of the Dead. Let's make some.
All right. Hey guys, Kapper here. Welcome back. This is going to be another really fun and exciting video. It was self-filmed. This was the biggest buck on my property that I was aware of. I had a lot of intel that went into it. So let's get into it and have some fun. So this buck, my history with this buck started last year, possibly the year before. I'm going to dig in, but last year I passed this buck several times. He was a big 7, and I think he was 4 years old last year already. He was definitely the dominant buck. I had harvested 11.6-and-a-half-year-old last year, and then this one I think moved into the dominant slot next. So I got a lot of good video of him last year. So I was hoping he survived, and then this year we filmed him not only in the backyard, but I got these 2 excellent trail cam video clips of him early in the season, broad daylight, so I knew he was staying close. And then we videotaped him in my house plot about a week or 2 ago. So again, a second daylight sighting. So far this year I had hunted 2 times. I hunted once with my son and his buddy Justin, and they each got a really nice buck. It was a great trip. That worked out very well. And then I hunted one more time solo. And then this is my 3rd sit, and it was very specific, the reason I sat there. The night before, I got a cell cam picture of this buck just after shooting time in one of my food plots. So the wind was going to be right. I figured if he was there at 6:43 already, he probably will show up much earlier because I didn't have cameras in the whole area. So that's what I did. I set up in one of my favorite towers. The wind was perfect. It was a north wind. That's the way this blind is set up. And by the way, I'm going to do a separate video on the land management aspects of it, because like 4 or 5 land management things all came together to encourage this buck to use this area. And coincidentally, this is 2 years in a row from the exact same spot. Last year, I got an 11.6-and-a-half-year-old buck. I'll put a link to that video. That's on our Carbon TV channel. And this year, I got the biggest and most mature buck on our property that I knew of. So I got set up in my stand. The wind was perfect. I was seeing deer like normal, north, south, east, and west. With that north wind, I closed that south window, and of course I had my ozonics going. A group of does came out, and they didn't scent me, but I think one of the older ones saw the curtain that she didn't like. The curtain was different than the day before. So that's my suspicion. So they kind of slinked off. They didn't huff or anything. And I had deer coming in mainly to the east and the north and the west. So by the way, my camera quit. My hunting camera, go figure, I put a fresh battery in it that showed green, and my extra battery that I usually put in my pocket, I had it sitting on my hunting tote, forgot to put it in my pocket. So sure enough, my good camera's dead, completely dead. So all I had was my cell phone. So all of the videos that I've taken from this are on my cell phone. My buddy Phil was in a stand just south of me.
Alright, we made it to Kapper's. Blind. Looks like a frat house in here. Look, he left me apple juice. I'm waiting for a Tiger and Mike Tyson to show up. But it's beautiful. November 2nd. Let's see what comes out here. Open the window if it gets hot, he says. Didn't realize he left me an infestation.
He had some action too. He got to see a lot of does. I was hoping he was going to get to see more bucks, but it just didn't work out that way. I'm hoping to have him back again to hopefully maybe try and get him his biggest deer.
So that actually happened a few days after this hunt. He came over and got just about his biggest deer ever with a crossbow. So stay tuned for that video. It was an incredible hunt we had together. So back to today's episode.
Anyways, so this buck followed the script perfectly. Oh, so mid-hunt, a coyote comes out. So I got deer on the northwest of me and the east of me, basically across from each other. And this coyote comes out, coincidentally, on the lane that I mowed for the deer. He comes out and he busts the deer out of the east plot. But the deer in the west plot, even though they're only, like 80-ish yards from this coyote, they couldn't see him because there's a terrain shift like this. So the coyote's over here and these deer are in my food plot over here, and I'm in the middle. So he actually tried catching a mouse. I don't know if I got that on film or not. He busted the deer out of there, and I wanted to shoot it. I did, but because of the deer in my other side, that shot would have busted them out, and I didn't want to do that. So those deer never saw the coyote, never smelled them. They just keep feeding down here in the food plot. So a little bit after that, it was plenty early, I saw does kind of get a little squirrely in the CRP brush, almost like maybe something was around them. And sure enough, I looked straight across that lane that I mowed, and all of a sudden, here he is. Here he comes. He's large as life, beautiful, beautiful big 7-pointer. Not going to score big, but that's not my objective. This is still a trophy. So he comes right down the lane that I had mowed this summer. Put up some more new trails. This is all warm season planting and natural regen combo. Deer love using these trails when they got thick stuff on both sides. And I had one going this way. Let's see if I can find it. And he starts hitting the food plot right there. And coincidentally, this food plot wasn't doing that well. All right, here's the first one. Does not look good, although this was an experiment. So I actually went in and replanted it late in the season. And with all the rain we had, those replants were beautiful and succulent. And that's what they were all hitting. So this buck comes in 27 yards, almost the exact same spot as that 6.5 last year. I mean, literally probably within a few feet. Of each other from last year to this year. He's at 27 yards, so I prop up my cell phone camera on him, and I tried to zoom in, but with gloves on it's harder to zoom, so I couldn't zoom in, but it's still a pretty good video. So he starts feeding there. I got my cell phone propped up, range him 27 yards. It's looking good. He's facing right at me, and he starts moseying off, gives me a broadside look. I stopped him somewhere around between 25 and 30 yards. I held between the 20 and 30 pin on the Raven. Yeah. Yeah. I think I just smoked a big 7. Wow. There's my arrow. I can't tell if it's all bloody or not. Looks like it. All right, pretty exciting. But you can never rest easy till it's down. It looked like a good hit. That's a big, big deer. Waiting for Phil. He should be here any minute. We're gonna go look for him. All right, Phil is trying to find blood. Did you find it? And I'm walking ahead because I'm colorblind. I couldn't see a gallon of blood if it was down. Looked like a good shot, but I didn't hear him pile up. Oh, here he is. Found him. Yeah. I was trying for a heart shot, but I think he ducked just a smidge, and maybe I was a smidge high, but either way, double lunged him, and he piled up in the CRP, not 40 yards-ish from where I shot him. I mean, sometimes it takes a while for him to open up, but he obviously expired very quickly. So it was a huge success. Appreciate you guys joining me. And don't forget, if you like our content, please hit the like button and share it for us. And stay tuned for the land management part of this hunt. When I lay out all the things I've been doing over the last several years, that all came together, which is why it really only took me one hunt in this case. It's 2 years in a row, so that can't be luck. That 2 mature bucks followed the script of everything I built and put together. So that's very satisfying. I hope I see you again on that video. So thanks a lot, and good luck to all you hunters out there. I hope to see you again. Thanks. All right, we're gonna hang him for tonight on the coyote and rock and roll.